automatically take an active interest in your future own well-being. They will want you to stay in business. That is, they want the state to go on in its exploitation business. And since banks tend to be major players in every complex society, such support is certainly beneficial to you. On the other hand, as a negative point, if you borrow money from banks, you are not only expected to pay your loans back, but you are also expected to pay an interest on top of it. The question then that arises for you as a ruler, again, I always ask you to put yourself into the shoes of government, because that will help you understand how the current monetary system developed. So the question that arises for you in the position as the state ruler then is, how can I possibly free myself of these two constraints? The first constraint being tax resistance in the form of falling tax revenues, and the second constraint, the need of having to borrow from banks and to pay interest to banks if you want to increase your spending level beyond what you can achieve through taxation means. Now, it is not too difficult to see what the ultimate solution to your problem is. You can reach the desired independence of taxpayers and tax payments and your dependence on banks if only you establish yourself first as a territorial monopolist of the production of money. That's the first step. On your territory, you simply pass a law. On my territory, only I am permitted to produce money. But that is not sufficient, because as long as money is a regular good that must be expensively produced, such as gold and silver, for instance, there is nothing in it for you as a state ruler except expenses. More importantly then, you must use your monopoly position, your position as a monopoly producer of money, in order to lower the production cost of money and the quality of money as close as possible to zero. Instead of costly quality money, such as gold and silver, you must see to it that worthless pieces of paper that can be produced at practically zero cost will become money. Now, I will not go into a great detail on how this process is going on. I'll speak on that subject at another gathering on Monday. But let me say this. Normally, no one would accept worthless pieces of money as payment for anything. Pieces of paper are originally only acceptable as payment insofar as they are titles to something else. That is, insofar as they are property titles. If I would give you a worthless piece of paper and you would not sell me anything for it, and even if I add unlimited numbers of zeros to the one in front, that would make absolutely no difference. You would still not sell any real good against pieces of money. So that pieces of paper were acceptable as payment at all at some point was due to the fact that they were just not pieces of paper. They were titles to real goods. So in other words, what you must do is you must replace pieces of paper that were titles to real money, to gold or silver or something else that was a real good, with pieces of paper that are titles to absolutely nothing. You realize, of course, that we have reached this position with the paper money that we currently use. They entitle you to absolutely nothing. Under competitive conditions, that is, if everyone were free to produce worthless pieces of paper money. A money that can be produced at almost zero cost would be produced in a quantity where marginal revenue equals or approaches marginal cost. And since marginal cost, that is cost of producing an additional unit of money, is zero, the marginal revenue, that is in this case the purchasing power of this money, would be zero as well. Hence, the necessity to monopolize the production of paper money. Again, realize, if everybody could produce paper money, it would be produced in such quantities, since it can be produced at zero cost, that what you can buy for this piece of paper is also absolutely nothing. So it is absolutely essential, if you have achieved the position where pure paper monies are in existence, that you must be a monopolist. You must be able to restrict the supply of money in order to prevent that this money becomes entirely worthless. You must restrict the supply of money in order to prevent hyperinflation, which otherwise would be almost instantly result if anybody could produce paper money at will. And if you have hyperinflation, then of course all the advantages that I will explain in greater detail in a few moments, all the advantages that you have by being the monopoly producer of paper money would disappear, because people would then go to real values. That is, money would simply disappear from being used, and instead people would just use butter and coffee and whatever it is as money, real goods again. Something that we have seen happening in every instance of hyperinflation. Now, in a way, by having introduced a pure paper money, you have then accomplished what all alchemists and their sponsors wanted to achieve. That is, you have produced something valuable, namely a money with purchasing power. Again, recall, with money, paper money can only keep purchasing power if it is monopolized, strictly monopolized. You have achieved a position where you have produced something valuable, money with purchasing power, out of something